What's going on, guys? So this week, actually last week, I worked on the seaweed and coral and procedurally generated that when the player enters the water. This week, I focused on the fish. So I also have to work on the swimming system eventually. Um, his animations on this, but you can see here, I did the same thing with the fish as I did with the coral and seaweed, and basically, it spawns the fish, and then each of the fish has a movement script on it, which allows it to pick a point within the box collider of the terrain that I set and swim around. So, obviously, each fish is going to have a different speed and things like that, but for now, I just randomized it. And I also have to specifically do different animations, probably for each fish, especially the dolphins. Um, but overall, I'm pretty happy with the results. They're spawned in each of the colliders they're in. They pick a point. And here I just have them spawn too, like with random sizes. So you have a giant, giant fish there, which normally they'll not be as big as the player, but I just wanted to do it for the fun of it. And yeah, so that's that. If you guys want to stick around, I'll show you the scripts if you're interested in that part. And being that I've been doing a lot of stuff with the ocean, I want to work on the fishing system. So I did a fishing system about a year ago, but now that I have like a specific ocean and more set systems, I want to do some research as to other fishing games and what they do. And the goal is to make it so the player feels like they're progressing and they're getting better at not only catching like lower tier fish, but they actually have a chance now to catch larger fish. But like someone who's just starting out should not be able to catch, the larger fish because it'll be too difficult. So I have to think of a good progression system, and then mechanics that actually makes fishing fun, along with the attributes here, which I want the attributes to affect how well the player can fish. So, for example, strength, which increases max life and attack power. Like if the player is stronger, they should be able to maybe handle stronger fish. Agility, maybe for reel speed, increases the speed at which the fish gets reeled in. And I'm thinking spirit, that helps energy regeneration, which will be depleted while you're trying to fight the fish. Luck, you might be able to, I don't know, catch a treasure chest or larger fish with increased luck. And then intelligence or intellect might increase your proficiency more quickly. And then fortitude, I'm not entirely sure, but I'll think of something. Um, so I'm going to do some research on other games and see what people find most fun with mechanics wise, and then try to translate that into my game. But overall, really happy with the results here with the fish swimming around, and we're at the almost 4 minute mark. So I'm going to show you guys quickly how the scripts work. All right, so how I set it up now, I think later I'm going to have it trigger so the player goes in the water, but for now I just set it to start. So when it starts, it's going to call this generate animals and water. And it's going to look through the biome. I pass through ocean as the biome. So each type of fish is going to spawn in different biomes. And in this case, I did ocean. So it's going to pick the ocean biome. And then for each terrain stats of ocean, so here in the game manager, in terrain manager, and this is, I know, kind of crazy, but I have a list of each of the terrain for the ocean here, and those are the references you see in the terrain manager. So I'll have a list for each of the locations or biomes. This one I have the ocean, so it's going to go through each of the terrain stats scripts that I set here, which has information about the specific terrain and the collider. Let me go to one of them. how I did it was set up a box collider so the fish spawn within a point within the collider. So it's going to say for each of those terrain stats or each terrain in the list, generate animals from a random range. Actually, I set it for now just like generate 9 of each animal. So it's going to go to the animal generator, and this is the animal generator script. And what did I call? Generate animals. So generate animals is going to get a list of animals to spawn, which is going to go through my animals list. And this is, yeah, I know this is getting pretty complicated at this point. So I have my animals in my resource folder, which are all scriptable objects. So for example, bass is an animal. This is the object that it's going to spawn. It's the biomes here. This is the key part here. So every animal with a biomes list of ocean is going to be able to spawn in the ocean. So for each animal in the spawns list, so first it's going to edit if the biome is the same, and then it's going to make the list of which animals could spawn there, and then it's going to how I've set it now is each terrain is the parent of whatever the fish that spawns. So I could always change that later. But that's what transforms list add is doing, adding to that list, and then making it a parent. It's in another script. So it's going to place an animal, takes the terrain stats, animal, and position, and basically it instantiates the object of the animal, which I showed before. Okay, so it's going to take a transform new object, which is going to instantiate the prefab here, which would be, let's say, the bass for the bass. So it's going to instantiate that. At a specific position, which the position gotten is get spawn position, which for the fish, it's going to get a new position within the box collider at a random range of the X, Y, and Z axes. So once it has that point, and then this here just sets the rotation to what it is. You could change it to -90. Sometimes when you go from Blender to Unity, you have to do that for the rotation. But for these fish, I already did that. So it's 0, 0, 0. And then if there's no fish movement script on it, because it's a fish, I add it. And then I add the water bounds to the fish movement, which is basically the collider. So if there's a place to swim, the fish will swim. Otherwise, it just stays still. So that's pretty much it. Again, I'll be working on the fishing type script and doing some research for next week. This is what I have right now of how I set it up. But there's nothing that takes like strength or agility or anything into account when doing it. And there's no degree of difficulty based on the strength or size of the fish, which I want it to be, because each stronger fish will have a greater value, and that will kind of show that the player's progressing because they could catch bigger fish. And then we'll have later on in the game very rare fish, maybe legendary type fish and things like that. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any questions or